In one of my last videos, I've been telling you what I think about the new expansion of World of Warcraft, The War Within. But I put aside the endgame because I did not have experienced it yet at the time. But now it's a thing done. So today we are going to speak about my opinion regarding the endgame of The War Within. Hi guys, hello, I'm Elloa, I'm a content creator on Twitch and YouTube, and I welcome you for this new RANTOSAURUS video in my beautiful autumnal forest. Today I will be telling you my experience of the endgame of The War Within, what I think about it, and if I think it's a good experience or not. But before that, I would like to put a little bit of context. What kind of endgame player am I? Because it will be very different from a casual player or a hardcore player. Both those type of player or anything in between can have vastly different opinion, so it's very important to mention that. We're soon celebrating 20 years of World of Warcraft. It's amazing. I've been playing this game for 20 years, except with a few parentheses where I was not playing, obviously. Through the different expansion, I have got a very different experience with the endgame. It took me a while to really start to get into it. Classic and Burning Crusade, I did a little bit of raiding, but overall I was kinda late regarding the overall progression of regular player, but at that time you were supposed to do all the raid in order, regardless when you were starting them. World of Warcraft was not working with kind of season, so if you wanted to raid Blackwing Lair, you had to get your equipment from Zul'Gurub for Onyxia Lair and from Molten Core before you could even think about getting there, and this even if you started at the end of the expansion. So basically I experienced a little bit of raiding with a relatively well organized condition, but it was really at the end of the expansion instead of being all along at the beginning, because I was, you know, making too much character and restarting all the time and changing server and role playing. It's really in Wrath of the Lich King that I had the best experience and I was in the most organized condition. My guild was not hardcore, so to speak, but we had some good progression and we still maintain a good social and inclusive vibe, even too we were kind of pushing with at least some of our players. I did a little bit of raid in Cataclysm, Pandaria, Warlord of Draenor, even Legion really at the beginning. So all those expansion I've been pretty casual, only doing normal and heroic raid, not finishing everything, and not really doing any side content or pushing myself to succeed. However, it's really in Battle for Azeroth I restarted to enjoy endgame. I had a proper guild for raiding, which it was my guild. So is it really proper? I don't know. But we were doing raiding, normal and heroic. I was doing a lot of Mythic Plus. Then my guild shattered, but I continued to do Mythic Plus and pushing some keys. Shadowland did not do anything, obviously. And I came back to Dragonflight way too late to really experience what raiding was. Even though I did every raid, but it was at the end of the expansion. So it's a great comeback for me. What kind of raiders I am? I consider myself as a softcore player. Is that even a word? I don't know. Meaning that I am not pushing myself too hard. I don't think I have the capability or the patience to really become a mythic raiders or to pushing very high level key. I'm a little bit too stressed. Oh, come on! Sick! But at the same time, I love raiding. I love raiding in good condition. I love to raid with a guild that you know, with people that you meet every week. I love to work on progress. I love to push myself. So I really like the heroic difficulty. I think that's what fit me the best in terms of difficulty, but also with the social organization, as heroic raid are still flexible, so it's a little bit easier to organize. I have the great chance of being in a really well organized guild, and it's probably the first time since ages that I'm in such good organized guild. We have several raiding team with Starship. Some are doing mythic, some are doing normal, some are in between. There's different degree of progress and different team are pushing different style of content. There's a different type of expectation for the player. I'm in a relatively social team where we are doing our best and trying to progress, but without being too pushy either. So just right for me. But yeah, raiding is certainly my favorite activity in World of Warcraft, and World of Warcraft has always been excellent with raiding. The quality of the raids, the decor, the boss fights, the structure, all of that has always been very exciting, very well made, and I do really believe that World of Warcraft is the best game when it comes to that type of content. Since they introduced the different difficulty, I think it's really worked well for any kind of player. You have LFR, which is the tourist mode, to accommodate for players that can only pug and they want to have a little taste of the raid, so they do that, or they want to grind some gear, whatever. You have that. Personally, I don't like LFR because it's too easy to really experience the tactic. In general, you can blow through them and you don't really have any social connection. So it's not for me. I really like the normal and heroic difficulty, and I think that to have the mythic difficulty is excellent for the people that really want to push harder. So overall, you have 4 different difficulty. You also have the story mode in this expansion. It's really accommodated for every player to find what fits them. The reason why I enjoy raiding so much is because you are with a large group of people. You meet several times a week to face some challenges that you have to overcome. You get to know the player in a certain way, and if you are in a good guild or in a good social group, it doesn't have to be a guild specifically, but in a good social group, this is very pleasant, and it's an occasion to create friendship and camaraderie that you will not find in any other settings. Raiding is very particular for that, and I really love it. It's one of the other endgame activities that you can do in World of Warcraft are the Mythic Plus dungeon. You have several difficulty with the dungeon: normal when you are leveling, heroic when you reach max level, and mythic when you really want to push yourself at max level. And then you have Mythic Plus and the key, which is a system that is very unique. You're doing the dungeon, it's timed, so you have to succeed the dungeon and kill the last boss and all the trash mobs in a certain time. If you succeed, your key is being upgraded, and you can use this key to utilize for another dungeon. That's when the season come in. So the content of the game is released through season. It goes together with the raid. And you do have a selection of 8 different dungeons per season. 4 are from the War Within and 4 are from other expansions to have a nice little mix-up, and so you're not doing the same 8 dungeons all through the expansion life. So all in all, it's a system where you can see your progression. The better you play, the more difficult content you can tackle in, and then you can see your progression going up and end by doing level 20 key and whatnot. Me personally, I have not been further than a +6 key, and I'm already very satisfied to have done that. So I am pretty still doing low keys, and I'm kinda behind in comparison to most players. But I like to feel a little bit secure about my skill before to push myself too hard and risk to fail and waste the key of someone else. So all in all, I think the Mythic Key is a really, really nice system. I'm very glad that World of Warcraft has introduced that. It allows you to really push content and to overcome difficulties with a smaller number of players, only 5 instead of 10 to 30 for the raids. And you can always increase the difficulty. You can always outperform yourself and progress further. So the principle is really, really nice. Personally, I like to do them, but I'm not pushing myself too far. I do not have very big ambition. It would be nice if I was getting you know, at least level 10, maybe before the end of the season. We will see. Last but not least, the last endgame experiment is the Delve. Delve is also endgame now. It's the new feature of World of Warcraft, The War Within, and we have been talking about that in this video. Check it out if you want to know more. Now I have been experiencing the endgame side of Delve, and I think it has been nicely balanced. So you can do them in group, you can do them by yourself. It's something, a little activity that you can engage in, which is pretty fun, and you can still have some good loot. It participates also to your vault. So overall, it's a nice way of progressing your character, progressing yourself without putting too much pressure upon you. I've not been doing any delve that were beyond level 8, but I did the Zekvir fight, and oh my god, the Zekvir fight. It was hard. My equipment was eye level 612. I did try Zekvir as a discipline priest, and I did try it as a shadow priest. I ended by vanquish him as a shadow priest. My equipment was not meant for shadow, and I am not a very experienced shadow priest, as I'm only doing quests as a shadow priest, and it's the first time in 20 years that I'm actually playing the spec like thoroughly. But I managed to do it. I suffered a lot, I wiped a lot, I yelled a lot, I cried a lot, I stayed many times how horrible it was, but I ended by doing it, and I think it's a really nice fight. It's a really nice boss. It can be very frustrating, but with determination you can do it. I mean, if I can do it, you can do it too. I'm not the best player, like honestly, I am not. So if you're having trouble doing Zekvir, do not give up and continue to practice. Once you know the way of handling the fight and you find how you can do it, it's just a question of being really good at doing it, at practicing it. It's not that complicated in theory, it's more difficult in practice. So I'm pretty sure you can do it. In any case, I think it's a really great way of offering different type of content for all kind of player. You have read many difficulties, so select the one that fits you. You have the Mythics and Mythic Plus content to do. If you don't like to be stressed with timer, just do Mythic 0, and that will be nice. You will have the highest difficulty of the dungeon, and it's pretty rough already, so you can just enjoy that and be happy with that. But if you want to push yourself further, then the keys are an excellent way of renewing the content constantly for yourself and having a nice challenge and see how far you can go. And then you have the delve, and the delves are a little bit the same principle, with a different approach and a more relaxed type of content, but that can still represent a nice challenge for you. So yeah, overall I think the endgame in The War Within is pretty good. And that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed, guys. If you want to see me live and you want to see me raging in Delve, stressing in Mythic Plus, or you want to see my progression with my team from my guild Starship, it's every Monday and Thursday evening. We are progressing in Heroic Nerib hour. You can see the video on this channel as well if you cannot get the live, so I'm putting the first skill every time, and maybe I will put more highlights about the content I'm doing on Twitch in the future. In any case, if you want to see me live and you want to interact directly with me, you can follow me at Elloa Wendy on Twitch. Thank you so very much for watching this video. Do not hesitate to like it if you like it, and to leave me a comment. I always love to interact with you guys. Thank you so very much. You guys take care of yourself, and I will see you next time. Bye everyone.